The first part of our agenda is Bring It Back. I had asked you guys to bring back your team score sheets that you had generated on Member Center and your teacher cycle record form. Real quick before we move on to anything else, how is that going recording your rubric scores on your teacher cycle record forms?
Once I got in the habit, it's going much better. I just have to remember to pick it up when I'm moving around and during class discussion.
Do you find it helpful to be able to have that and record it right when the kids are performing the rubrics?
It keeps me focused.
Mm-hmm. It really
reminds me.
When I see the little blank spots, I know that I need to catch those kids for whatever skill we're working on. It sure helps to have it on a clipboard and portable and use it as I walk around the room.
Okay.
And I feel like I know a lot more about what the kids are able to do now because I have more data.
Okay. Good. I'm glad those are working.
Nobody can hide either. I mean, everybody gets called on.
Right. Everybody is there.
Yeah.
Okay. With a grade level partner or just somebody who is sitting next to you, if you wouldn't mind reviewing over your teacher cycle record form and your team score sheets, and then look at your teacher goal and make sure that it is measurable, and then talk to your partner about what students in your classroom that you can move in order to help you meet your goal as a teacher. And then when we report back, we'll talk about what 2 kiddos you can move and what you're going to do to help those.
I started out with my teacher goal being
Start with teacher cycle record form.
getting the first graders to be able to help and support each other without telling the answer.
I was looking at a couple areas that I need to improve.
I
I have 270s here under vocabulary and ventures and writing. Right now I think I have a 95% in the strategy course. I thought that was somewhere we were going to have to focus on, but it seems like they're really getting the hang of that.
What was the strategy? Clarifying?
Questioning.
support each other, telling each
Oh,
other
good.
the strategy.
Have you done clarifying yet?
To clarify.
Which is, yeah.
I thought that was hard to get them to stop, but mine are getting better too, you see, because they're starting to participate more in their team discussions and holding each other accountable for that in the team discussions. And really, I think referring back to those rubrics is helping.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I had a hard time coming up with a goal. You know, this edition 4 is so different. The pacing of it is a little more rigorous. So we were finding that we were not getting through to the end of the lesson. We were just really getting hung up in some areas. So I wrote it for to be more consistent with the pacing through the daily lesson with edition 4, and to set a timer. So that if we weren't done with all the team talk questions, we would leave that when the timer goes and move on to the next section, because we weren't getting through to the fluency or to the word power. And it's on, I mean, the word power part and the meaningful sentence part is on their Friday test, on the day 5 test.
Yeah.
And we weren't getting there.
Right.
So
And the timers seem to help.
it helped with my pacing.
Yeah.
There's a lot more content, I think, in this version 4. I think it's just so much, you take each piece and it's so much more in depth.
There's so much more to it. Yeah. The directions are more specific. And they're good. It's just a lot to get through. And you can't push the discussion too fast. But we've also gotten our kids to realize that if they didn't get right to the discussion and make sure that everybody in their team knew the answer and talked about it, they missed out. Because if one of the kids got called in Random Reporter and didn't have the answer, oh well.
Yeah.
So they're realizing the pacing part of it too. It'll take a little while. Yeah.
Yeah, they got it. I think most of our teams got that part. They're trying to get those kids that didn't want to participate at all. They at least make sure that they try to get them first, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's true in some of the teams. And I'm finding, and I don't know about, she wanted specific kids. We do have specific kids that are reluctant in their team.
More often have them now that they've seen me use the rubrics
My
So I don't
kids
know.
are buying so much into Random Reporter that we've actually had meltdowns if they were chosen and they weren't well prepared. And so they're whispering to each other and trying to remind them what their discussion
After
is right
they're
at the
already
last
called.
right at the last minute, so we don't have those meltdowns. So they're really buying into the Random Reporter wheel. So that's helpful to get everybody prepared.
Anybody would like to start? Share out your goal and idea of how you're going to meet that goal.
My goal was to utilize the strategy use rubrics more faithfully, and I didn't have it measurable, but I am doing that more often. So Brian and I just talked about I'd like to change my goal to now bringing the students into it more now that they've seen me give feedback based on the rubric during class discussion, have them give each other the other team's feedback more often. So I put 50% of the time, and I don't know if that's too much or not enough. It seems to take a little bit more time when they give each other feedback, so I might need to adjust that, but that's what I'd like to do.
Okay, great.
I have 2 kids in vocabulary who are kind of low right now, so I'm going to focus on moving those 2 to make my 85% in vocabulary. I think we'll be able to do it.
Okay.
Brian, what do you think you'll do? I mean, what's one thing you might do?
Well, I think first of all, having a conversation with those 2 kids and letting them know that this is a big focus for them personally will be a big thing, but also having them review and maybe keep more on track of the fact that they are reviewing during that time when they start and they come in.
My goal was to improve the story test comprehension portion, and we've kept track as a class of the percentage of students that received an 80% or better on the comprehension test, and our percentages have gone up each week, and the kids are really taking ownership of this. They're really taking ownership, and they want those scores to go up, and they want to see it on the board. You know, they want to see 100% up there.
Are you graphing it? I know last year you did the graph.
I have a graph that I put up on the Promethean board, but I don't have it displayed this year. But I have the numbers up on the board.
I was in there the other day.
The numbers are up
there, and I agree.
You know, making a graph so it's more visual, that's up all the time, probably is a really good idea, instead of just...
But they're looking for it.
They are
So-
looking for it, yeah.
So tell us your percentages, because Leah was saying they looked.
Oh my gosh, they're incredible.
Well, at the beginning of the year, it was 50%. That was with, you know, it's just, I gave them the test and we did the test. And then each week, the big thing is I've been displaying those rubrics up on the Promethean board. It makes a difference when they see it.
Good.
Yeah. So well, it went from, by this last week, we were up to 89% of the students that had
50 to
80%.
89?
Yeah.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
And I think it's because they know the percentages and they see it.
And the expectations are there for them.
4 weeks, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
4 weeks.
We use a lot of the member center information that they can pull from their teacher cycle record forms and student team score sheets, and look at the different data that we can pull off of those comprehension tests, vocabulary, and set goals as teachers through our component team meetings, and also set goals with our students within the classroom.